Hey folks, well, it's September 17th, 2023, and I'm over here in where Pond 8 I put in the other day. And I did talk about how I cleaned up a lot of the material around in here. And I want to come over here with Elon again now because it's overcast now and we might get some rain tonight. So I wanted to accomplish a couple of things over here on this little roadway we've got here. And I want to believe, actually asked a real good question about could I use timbers, logs and all to reinforce the wall of the pond here, so I have less of a chance of this just keep eroding. As you can see, it erodes some. I think I've got enough room here, and because there isn't a stream action or waves to like the lake or some large body of water, I think I'll be okay with this. When I'm over here, I'll pull some of this back up to here, and there will be some erosion over time, but as we get things planted along in here, it shouldn't be too bad. So that's my thought anyways. But you can see there's still puddles after a couple of days without rain, and this is where my tracks were. So one of the things I want to do is drain it over here into the pond. Same thing up there. And then I want to work along this property margin here. You can see the deer print all along in here. And smooth out some of the larger piles of dirt that I've got here, move some of that to fill in the low spots, the mounds on the edges there, smooth out that soil over there. I did come in and pull out some more of the bad trees over there, but I got to get this straightened out first so I can get some more transplants all along in this area here. So that's what I'm going to be working on now. I'm going to come up here with Elon and see what I can accomplish. It will be a little messy because this is still soft. I'm sinking in a little bit. In the wet spots, I'll sink in like crazy. And it'll still be a bit of a mess as I leave the area, but it'll be in better shape for when we do get some dry days. And I don't know how many dry days we're going to get left. So that's what I'm going to work on now. And I am having trouble with this gimbal operating this camera. So here we go. So I'm on the road with Elon, the Takeuchi TB290 excavator. It's got a 3-foot bucket on it, excavation bucket, so it's pretty big and heavy. And what you can see is there's mounds of dirt on both sides of the roadway that I had created. On the right side of the screen is the neighbor's property, and on the left side of the screen is where the new pond was dug recently. So what I'm trying to do now is decrease the mounds of earth on both sides of the road and put them back into the center of the road. Ideally, we want the road to be higher than the sides, and right now it's just the opposite. I'm grabbing a couple of stones from along the margins as I find stones, good sized ones, to put into the very wet spots that I keep sinking in. So in the center of the road, between the two mounds on the sides, which I'm removing the mounds, it pooled water when it rained, and therefore it is a wet spot. So I'm burying those rocks in the locations where the tracks of the equipment will drive across. Now I'm working around the margins, pulling them to the center, and then pushing them forward and trying to fill in some low spots. I'm also sweeping the sides of the entrance into the pond with, it's called slewing, swinging the boom and the stick or the bucket of the excavator to pull the soil, rotate it towards the center of the driveway. Now what I'm doing is I'm smoothing out some of the earth that I had deposited over there before and just roughly broken down. I've got a couple of tree trunks there I'm moving out of the way. And I just keep working on those sides, making them so that they slope away from the road and either towards the pond or towards the neighbor's property. And in this area where the excavator is right now, it's actually pretty good. The tracks aren't sinking in there, so as it moves around in a couple of moments, you'll see that the tracks start sinking as soon as I get off of the rocks that I just buried. So all along the way, just keep sweeping the sides, making it so that the sides taper down away from the road so the road stays high and dry. Making it nice and smooth on the edges so that the water will run down the sides. I have to keep moving the camera out of the way so we can see things. You can see there's water pooled there. I didn't show this before, but and I'm talking about in the road itself, but when the water is sitting in the spot where the tracks were sitting before. Now you'll be able to see that the tracks are actually sinking in. I'm actually sunk right in there, so I'm going, as I pull out of the area, I'm filling in with some more soft stuff. So the whole thing is trying to do this so that we're going to have some dry days and all of that material that I'm putting back into the center of the road solidifies. It's also removing any trip hazards all around there at the same time, because all of those ruts and material that from the first time when I did the excavation of the pond, they're all pretty significant. There's roots that stick up and all that. And again, I'm filling in the low spots, building up the center of the driveway area. And we really should have a nice, you can see I'm sunk in there a little bit, a really nice couple of, at least 7 to 10 days of dry, windy days would really be beneficial for getting the moisture out of that soil. Then I can go over it again with with the Hulk, which is a Takeuchi TL12 V2 track loader. And that could really pack down that soil. Now I'm grabbing some very wet material and putting that right in the center of the driveway, trying to mound it up some so that the water rolls off the sides. Again, sweeping away from the edges, the margins, trying to make it so it's highest in the center of the driveway, which is a bit of a challenge in this situation. I got to keep moving the camera so you can see what I'm up to. And where I am now, I'm still going to need more fill, and I'm going to go get some more fill in just a couple of minutes here, or just a few moments. But I need more fill right where Elon is working there. It's still a little bit low there, even though I've filled in that area a couple of times. So as I mentioned, I'd removed all the piles, and now it's time to go ahead and create some more piles. So this is the area where the spillway is going to go, and I left a bit of a bulge there. And that way it allowed me to more easily get the other piles out that I removed before and filled into other locations. So now I'm leaving a little bit of a dike as I'm doing the excavation to hold the water back so I can pile up. As you can see, that pile is all not dry, but almost dry. It isn't soaking wet soil. So I'm digging out, making it deeper, building up the pile. So that's the soil that I'm going to be using. And this is going to be the area where there's going to be the potential place for animals to be able to egress out of. So make it real easy. If the water levels are low, turtles will be able to climb up the bank. If a deer gets stuck in the pond or any other wildlife, I'll create a little ramp going up, and that ramp will be the beginning of the spillway going down to pond 3. So after digging that all out, then I go ahead and take the wet material, I'm scooping out my dike and putting it to the other side, and we just need to let that material set for a while, and that'll dry out. But that pile that you see right on the right side of the screen, that material's dry right now, or relatively dry. Now I'm just going to go ahead and create 1/3 pile over on the right side of Elon, and create my ramp going up to the spillway going down to pond 3. Pond 3 is right behind Elon right now. So that's it. That's the whole process. Okay, well, I just got done doing some more work over here by pond 8. And as you can see, there's still ruts in places that I've got to fill in. A lot of places I need more fill to do that with. So I may have accomplished some of that today as well. This ground is starting to firm up some. It really needs a full week to get solid enough. But I was able to smooth out some of this area in here. I had a couple piles over in here. And I was able to knock down the mounds on each side of the roadway here. I still have to do more work over there in the entrance area, over in that area there. But the pile that was here, I smoothed that out. Around the pond margin here, I smoothed that out. Got the edge along the roadway here. Really want this to be the highest, but because it's still there's so much moisture in it, I keep sinking. So having sort of a crown here to this bed. It'll actually be flat on the top, but tapered sides. And so I've got more work to do to smooth out here after things dry up some more. So hopefully things dry out some more. Here I took some good sized rocks and put them in where the tracks go. This is where all the water was collecting, here and over there. And I scalped this margin here so that the water will hopefully run down that way. Now there's more that's got to be done here, of course. And it's still very, very soft, and I'm sinking as I'm walking. The area that I filled in before, this is firming up some. Over here, another big wet spot here. And so I did take a couple scoops out of here, deposit them here. So hopefully we're going to have a few dry days. I'm really hoping so. Then I went ahead, and over there was a bulge sticking out before, and I had removed all of that fill. So that's fill that came out of this bulge right here. So that's in the video if I do show some time lapse. And so by digging that out over there, that allowed the water level to drop a few inches. But that's pretty darn good, the amount of water that's in here for the amount of time, the amount of rain that we got. So this is really good. This is a positive sign. And then what I did do was I made that side over there a ramp. So that should work out a bit better with that being a ramp. Walk right around here. This has all got to dry out some before I can really mess around up in here. We had one rock that's reasonable size, small enough for small people to sit on here. But I've got some boulders down and back I can bring up here for sitting stones around this pond. I've got to prune off some of these roots. So here's the pile that I got out of this area right over here. This will have to be moved in 3 moves because there's only one spot over there where the Hulk, the track loader, can come up and get some of this material, or over there, but it's really got to solidify more. All of this is dry. When I excavated it out, I left a berm out there that kept the water back, and I dug down a little bit to a lower level, scooped all that material out and put it over here, which is all dry. It's not dry, but it didn't get soaked by the water in the pond. Then I went ahead and scooped out the little dike that I had there, and that material is over there. That's all sopping wet material. And then I just gradually made a small ramp here. As I mentioned before, I always wanted to have a place for the wildlife to be able to step down in there, like deer and all. And if a fawn gets down there and has trouble, they can find their way to this location they can climb back out. And this is where the spillway will be, and it'll go right down in here someplace to fill pond 3. So this is the amount that I took out from just right here at this upper dry part. The dike area that I had, that's all wet stuff over there that could sit there for till next season. And this is all relatively dry. Not dry, but relatively dry. But we got to have the ground seal up a little bit more before I can go over there with the Hulk and really dress up that driveway more. But at least the banks are gone now. And we have our place for an inlet and an egress for any critters that want to get out of here easily. If the water level drops, turtles can make it out real easy. And we can always put some marshland grasses right in here, some reeds and all right in this, and plant that spot. And now I've got some more fill to go ahead and fill in some of those other locations. So that's it for today's video. I hope it was somewhat entertaining and informative. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments below. Really appreciate it. If you found the video interesting, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. That always helps out the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye now. I gotta figure out where the button is. Here we are.